But that's why I'm terrible at the game, and that's why I'm here instead of there. So,
we like you here, Rainy. We like you right here where you're at.
You're good, man.
to be honest, I'm pretty bad at what I'm doing here as well. But
Oh,
there we go.
on.
Dragon and Forest against Blood and Forest. I love it. Look at all these Forestcraft players. Oh,
This is disgusting.
All day, every day, Forest.
Wait,
Let's go.
Trope like banned out, dude.
That's interesting.
What?
Yeah,
What?
when you have a Forest, Sword, and Aggro Blood lineup, I believe that's what Dasvi has is Aggro Blood. You ban out the Control Blood. Interesting. It kind of makes sense in the fact that it could be the only control deck that you're really afraid of, but like PDK seems better versus all of your decks. I'm interested. I'm interested to see here.
Okay, I never thought I would see the day where Control Blood would be banned against the Roach.
Right.
But hey, man.
Teach their own. Teach their own. Yeah. This is all player strategy, so maybe he just doesn't want to play against the deck. Maybe he just knows. I mean, they have played this matchup before, so maybe in the first iteration of the matchup, Control Blood was not banned, and it was the one game win that we saw. So it could be that, and he's just like, you know what? That's the deck that gave you the best shot. I'm going to shut it out.
You know what? That's fair. Although it's still awkward to say. Anyway, back to this game, or rather, into the game.
Interesting to not see Wood of Brambles played here with an extra fairy. I feel like getting the extra tempo, especially this early in the game, really benefits you because you're the first active player with the Wood of Brambles clash effect. And for those of you who don't know, when there are Wood of Brambles staring at each other, the player whose active turn it is, their clash happens first. It's not like a back and forth.
Well, that's the clash effect. That's actually the clash rule, period. So, the active player, yeah, it's not just what a Bramble is specific. But
I'm just saying, this is relevant information for people playing right now.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, see, the extra fairy would have cleared off the entire board on the previous turn. I mean, I don't mind waiting because Wood of Brambles gets full value this turn. You can just play out everything, and it lasts longer in play. So it's not a bad play. It's just interesting to see.
Well, we're coming up on 4, and we don't necessarily see EPM in Dasvi's hand, so he won't be doing the optimal turn 4 play, but he does have options. He does have access to Wood of Brambles and Sylvan Justice, so he can clear out some of these fairies.
I think that is the best option, because along with what he has is if he doesn't clear the board here, he's just going to be taking a ton of chip damage. We see in Baad's hand that he already has a Nature's Guidance and a Fina to fetch a 0 cost Goblin Mage, so yeah.
Oh, he's gonna go the fairy route.
Yeah, this works too. Essentially, it kills the same amount of things and leaves more left over.
You're done for.
Well, now this fairy is gonna trade because this Wood of Brambles is on Dasvi's side. He's gonna be able to, again, as we mentioned before, the clash effect. It triggers first, not the opponents. So
very interesting game to watch with Bramble battle.
You know, this is the first time I've seen this actually. Like I don't really see Forest mirrors that often, and it's definitely the first time I've seen Wood of Brambles battle.
Yeah, it's an actual battle in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
It's crazy. What we also don't see is any airbound barrages drawn by either player. So not like reusable and enforceable Wood of Brambles turn after turn, which is kind of what I wanted to see. But we're kind of just migrating into the combo plan. Both players have combo options now. Goblin Mage plus Fina for Dasvi. The Fina that was already played, and now a Goblin Mage for Baad. So they're kind of like at equal pace with each other. And now I would say that even though Baad had the early advantage, I think Dasvi's kind of slipping into the advantage because he gets the Evo last.
Yeah. Being able to Evo last in the matchup is incredibly important, I think. Or actually, in general, it's important, right?
Well, I guess technically, Baad could do the Cassiopeia play here just for a clean board and then just attack face for one. And then that would prompt Dasvi to play the Fina to Evo, which would in turn give Baad the last Evo. So I think Cassiopeia might actually be the play here over Goblin Mage.
So You think, okay, so there's no consideration to play the EPM, which he's
Well, I don't like EPM here because EPM breaks. EPM doesn't survive this.
It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't survive because of the class effect of Wood of Brambles.
Right. So this Evo, I'm definitely not a fan of. I don't like that.
Well, he can definitely trade into a fairy and survive with Fina, so he can definitely do that. There's no problems there.
Yeah, especially with no Evo on the bounce back now. Like this is basically gonna prompt a Cassiopeia. Like it has to be played. Which in turn gives Dasvi that extra turn to maybe go into a combo turn. So looking pretty good for Dasvi. But again, we see that Baad has the 3 health point advantage, which we know is huge in this matchup. So this is a very spicy game.
He does have that, and he does actually have access to his combo next turn. So yeah, he has it next turn. He's got 3 zeros, I believe. Yeah, he's got the 2 fairies, and he's got the mage. He's got the bounce. Yeah. So yeah, he has that combo next turn. Yeah, I kind of got tongue tied there.
Ooh, that roach is good, but you can't set up lethal on turn 7 with no evos and 1/0 cost. So this is not a lethal turn, and there's not really a really good way to deal with this Cassiopeia either.
The roach, which you really wouldn't want to do.
Right. So I think this is just like a Fina plus Fairy Circle Fairy turn? Maybe even just Fina plus Fairy without playing the Fairy Circle to hold that for combo?
But then if he does that... Yeah, feels pretty bad.
Yeah, there's just not really a lot you can do here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I thought Dasvi was looking up, but then, yeah, looking at after the EPM trade, so he did set up a nice little combo forward turn, but again, he only has access to 1 roach at the moment, so it's not going to be a lethal setup next turn. Next turn is going to have to be like a Goblin Mage from Baad, the 3-cost one, into like some board control, which does give Dasvi again another turn. So it does opt to play the Fairy Circle here. I'm not a big fan of that play. Holding it, I think, is a little better because it gives you an extra spell with your roach combo. And there's no real reason to pop it here because you're not playing out any of the fairies.
Yeah, for me, it's always weird to see Roach, even when I do see him, Roach mirrors, just to see how, I would say, intricate the matchup is. Just
super intricate. Like this turn, playing Lilac instead of Goblin Mage to, again, power out a combo turn on turn 9, which would have been lethal. Is now just halted because he played the Lilac. So playing overly defensive, I think Baad is. Could have set up lethal turn.
Well, we do... yeah, this is kind of, again, one of those nerves thing. You don't really think about it. You know, just kind of like, okay, I need to get something out. I need to apply more pressure. But wait, I could kill him. Oh,
so here's what I'll tell people. If you really want to play Forest, you have to play the deck a lot. The reason why I know the lethal turns and all that stuff really fast is because I've played Forest thousands of games. I know just by a glance what is possible and what's not in most scenarios. Sometimes I have to count. But it's a really tough deck to just know that with, right? And like you have to know it pretty fast so that you can actually think about it and then do it in a given turn without running out of time. Right.
That's always been my problem with it, is that I'll just run out of time. Like, oh wow, I had lethal, I just saw it. Oh wait, I'm dead. You know, because I've lost my turn. Feels bad.
Okay, so he's going for a setup turn here, using all of his 1-drops to do so. Which
would have
means
been
that
a little different. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, using all of his 1-drops here means that he takes away his lethal option for the following turn as well. So
see, this is actually where
see...
things... Sorry, I cut you off again.
No, that's fine. I was done. You're good.
Okay. All I was going to say was that this is actually where that playing that Fairy Circle, the turn before, kind of
really hurts.
Yeah, really hurt. Just
really
that
hurts.
One, again, more micromanaging. The small decisions that could really turn a game around. We could have actually seen a lethal performed maybe 2 turns ago, or maybe not 2 turns ago, maybe last turn.
Well, this turn for sure for Baad could have been a lethal turn.
Right.
But I don't know why he's so hesitant to play the Goblin Mage. Like, I don't know why he's holding it back. I'm not sure what he's saving it for. You know what I mean? Okay, here we go.
I don't know. He's saving it for Christmas, man.
Right? Again, playing fairies to the board. If you cannot clear your board off, then there's nowhere for your roaches to actually hit play. So if he adds or increases his board here, he doesn't really have a way to play his roaches and combo them very well. So he's giving Dasvi more time.
He's not only giving him more time, but he's giving himself less time. Like,
Right?
by doing this, Dasvi never has to play anything that would allow Baad to clear.
This is actually just illegal, isn't it?
Oh, wait. You're right. It is. Okay, we were too busy talking about one thing and missed the lethal sitting right
So
in front of us.
because Baad did not play his Goblin Mage earlier, it allowed Dasvi the time to set up a lethal turn.
Wow.
Very simply put.
So a matchup that Baad was actually, he had the tool.
He had the
but
game. It was his game.
Yeah, his game to lose, and he certainly lost.
Very interesting to see. Like, it's, you know, I love Forest. I love watching it play, and I like that we get to commentate on a lot of this because I hope a lot of these players can take home with them just things to think about when they play, right?
Right.
Like, hopefully, like, I don't mean to say anything in a bashing nature towards any of these players because, like I said, Forest is the hardest deck. These players have shown that they're good. It's just Forest, man. Forest, like you said, so much micromanaging, so much random stuff that can happen. Like, you really just have to be on top of it, you know?
Right.
And hopefully they can take home with them today a lot of information to go home and just, like, practice with.
One thing I would encourage the people who are playing in these events to do is to, if they're not watching like the stream, because obviously they're playing the matches, so they're probably
Or the
not watching
VODs.
the stream, right? But I would definitely recommend watching the VODs. Like, I would definitely recommend going back, watching your matches from before to see where you messed up, what you could have done better, etc., etc. Just
Akamaru Red,
make sure to do that.
EU Season 2 champion, said in his interview that I watch all of my VODs after every single tournament. It's how I help myself win.
Yep.
Straight from the winner's mouth.
So if you're gonna follow anyone's advice, follow his.
Yeah, don't listen to
Because-
us, okay? You can listen to him.
Yeah, because he's a winner.
That's right. He's
Okay.
a winner.
He's a winner, man. So follow him. Do what he. Yeah, Akamaru Red. Great guy. Anyway.
Shed tears of joy, I've arrived.
So interesting bite play here. It does protect
Yeah.
Urias, which is super important against Forest. Urias is a real big pain in the butt for Forest. It always has been.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. And the clash effect from
Really?
Lilac actually takes place first
Mhm.
because again, active player. So Vite also has a clash effect, but again, wasn't on the active players. So
Yep,
in
don't
other
get
words,
to use.
active player has priority.
It's interesting to see the new removal card in Dasvi's hand. I know this is a card that you've really liked. I haven't
I
seen it
do.
in any aggro variants though.
Well, the thing is, it does do damage to both players. It's like Ambling Wraith, but a removal card. So it's like Ambling Wraith, and people run Ambling Wraith, but it's on.
So I guess
removal.
it's like a
And that's-
Hungering Horde replacement because maybe Death's Breath's not as prevalent right now.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
Got me.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Solid Chains. So for those who don't know, Solid Chains deal 1 damage to both leaders, then do 3 damage to the enemy follower, so it can help clear out a ward or just get rid of some problematic follower that your opponent has. And it can also do damage to both players. So that 1 damage, as we've been talking about this entire event, 1 is a big number.
Huge number.
Big number.
Especially with all this Forest running around. 1 damage is life or death in a lot of scenarios. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This is just a lethal setup over 2 turns. So Baad has to win right now, and he does not have the tools to win right now.
No. None of them. 0. Even if he clears this, it's double Razor Claw. I mean, he would have to heal, draw Cresselia Aaron.
He'd have to draw.
That would put him on a
Cresselia,
lethal. Yeah, that's the only thing that he could draw. Only thing.
Aggro Blood, double
And
Urias against Forest. And this is even a Forest hand that didn't have a lot of cards to play out of hand, and it still did a ton of work.
Yeah. So Snarling Chains, that 1 damage actually
Huge.
really mattered.
Huge.
Yeah. You know, so Aggro Blood got yet another burn card. And it obviously, that 1 damage put in a lot of work.
I think he's really just going into the tank about like, okay, how much damage can my opponent possibly do? Realistically, I don't think you even have to show a Razor Claw here. Because unless your opponent has an Aaron, either way, like if your opponent does have an Aaron, you would have been happy to have saved your Razor Claw. If they don't have it, you still win. So,
which he definitely doesn't have.
Doesn't have it. So,
unfortunately, his face is about to be shredded. By a Razor Claw.
I do think that the most heads up play though would have been just to save the Razor Claw. I don't think you needed to play that card right there.
Well, I mean, isn't playing it there just telegraphing it?
It's telegraphing what you have, right? Now, if you didn't have the second Razor Claw, it makes sense because then your play is just going to be Caraboss and you just want to continuously deal damage, right?
Right.
But having lethal in your hand, just don't show your opponent it, right? Because say he didn't play Razor Claw there, and Baad did draw something like an Aaron. Maybe he wouldn't have played the Aaron because he doesn't think a lethal is possible, right?
Right.
So it's just there's a lot of mind games that go into competitive play as well.
It's not all luck, guys.
Not all luck, I guarantee you that. He's getting the kicks.
Yep, he's getting
the little finger kicks.
Yeah.
There it goes. Baad is out of there, and Dasvi will win with Roach Force and Aggro Blood. And it was the Caraboss deck. It was still in there. We did see it.
Yep. And it's
so
going to the finals.
Dasvi moves on, and this means that Best Marma and Dasvi will be our first 2 new European qualifiers for Season 3, and they will have an opportunity to play in the Contenders Cup.